Hi, I'm Zuri Berry, the Bostoncom high school sports editor, and with me here is Holmes. He's the high school sports editor for the Boston Globe, and what you're watching is The Huddle, our weekly high school football show where we'll bring you the highlights, interviews, and features week in and week out. Now, this is our third season doing The Huddle, and Bob, I believe this is our first time in the newsroom.
I like it.
Pretty nice dig. Anyways, we're pumped about this season. It's getting started this Friday and Saturday, and we've got a number of things to get through. But first, we want to talk about some programming notes. First and foremost, what's going in on Wednesday in the newspaper and also online on Bostoncom.
Lots of good reading. Starts with a story about Michigan-bound and Zavarian lineman Maurice Hurst Jr. We have capsules on about 200 high school teams. We have players to watch, games to watch, top 20, you name it.
Let's talk about that top 20. Who is the Globe's preseason #1 team? I know everybody wants to know this.
I know, and you know, I would like to be different, but the team that has a 25-game win streak, the team that ended last year as our #1 team, and that would be mighty Everett, begins the year as our #1 team. It's unavoidable. They're loaded.
Well, let's forget about the team with that 28-game winning streak, or whatever it is, Duxbury. But let's talk about Everett. I mean, they graduated Jonathan DiBiase, who was the quarterback last year, single-season passing record, 44 touchdowns. What do they have coming back? Who's going to be quarterbacking them? What's going on there?
That is a huge loss. I mean, he just had a phenomenal career, and Patrick Long, and Lucas Dennis are competing for the job. But I'm telling you, with their offensive line, you could get behind center, and they'd still go undefeated. They are loaded up front, led by John Montelis, who's going to be playing at Notre Dame next year.
That's a pretty good guy. And they have plenty of other talent as well, defensive backs, receivers that we've heard about. But if the Crimson Tide is our #1 team, then where do the BC High Eagles land? This is a team, obviously, that won the Division I Super Bowl last year. They lost a couple of pretty good running backs in Preston Cooper, as well as Deontay Ramey-Doe, and our Division I Player of the Year, Jamison McShay, who was their tight end defensive end. So where does BC High kind of fit in and everything?
BC High is going to be a part of probably the toughest conference in the state this year with the Catholic Conference. Very, very balanced. We'll find out, of course, on Friday night when they open against Brockton. But they should be very, very strong on the line, led by Jack McDonald, who's headed to Virginia next year.
Okay, all right. All right, so you guys can dig up all of our Boston.com, dig through the top 20, the 100. We'll have all that available on Boston.com on Wednesday. But there's also another important issue that we want to bring up. In October, every MIAA school is going to be voting on a new playoff tournament-style format for football. And Bob, can you just give a little primer on what this is going to be?
The easiest way to explain it, October 26th, the state has the possibility of giving football the same thing as soccer, basketball, and baseball. A simple playoff system that will eliminate the stupidity, really, of having 19 Super Bowls in Eastern Mass and having 19 teams in December standing there saying, we're #1.
All right, we talked to Swampscott head football coach Steve Dembowski, and he's one of the architects of the plan. He gave a little bit of explanation of what to expect for coaches and administrators, but he also sort of allayed some of the concerns that coaches have. Take a listen right now.
This is a much different proposal, based off of some of the principles that were good about the previous proposal. This is going to maintain the leagues, which was a big problem in the other proposal, and a lot of people had issues with the amount of travel to match up against a similar opponent. So we've eliminated that in this proposal by maintaining the leagues and then allowing you to fill your own open dates. Maintaining the automatic berth or burst, if it's more than 5 teams in a league, you get 2. And then by taking the best available teams in those divisions by having a wild card through a, what's the word I'm looking for, through a power rating system. And with that being a way to get 8 teams in from a division, when you're looking at divisions of 12, 16, or 18 teams, you're talking about at a minimum 44% of the teams in the division qualifying, and in most cases, 66% of the teams qualifying.
All right, that was Steve Dembowski again of Swampscott. Bob, what do you think of the plan itself, and do you think this is a good thing for the MIA as well as all of its schools?
I think it's a great thing. I don't have a vote. I wish I did. I would vote yes. And it's a 2-year pilot program. If it doesn't work, go back to the current system.
Well, you know what? I think just to throw this out there, but people always complain about the NCAA and not having sort of a true champion. I think this sort of, figures that portion out, at least for high schools in Massachusetts.
Yeah,
right?
6 state champions and all played at Gillette Stadium. I mean, it's so logical, so simple.
Why isn't it?
We'll see.
Done?
Yeah,
we
really.
shall see in October then. Well, I think that should do it for us at the Huddle. We will be back next week. On Monday, we'll come out with all of Week 1's action and whatnot, so you guys can stay in touch and in tune with all of Boston.com's coverage and Boston Globe's coverage online at boston.com/schools. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and any other thing that you could think of. I'm Zuri Berry for Bob Holmes. We'll catch you next week.